All right, it's 5:33. We have our recording going. Nicole, how many more folks are we expecting tonight?
I believe we're almost there. I think maybe 2 or 3 more people. I know there were some instructions given just a little bit ago. So if you joined recently, if you could start boiling some water for your soba, that would be great. So if you are joining us and you are cooking along tonight, feel free to go ahead and get that started.
And for those who just joined, we're just dropping in the chat a little hello to everyone and maybe where you're from. We have, let's see, I stopped at my own. So Reverend Endo is from Oakland. Christy is from San Jose. Ruby is from Stockton. Derek is from Minneapolis. Vivian is calling in from Danville. Mike also from Stockton. Chris Kubo, I think you said you were from Cortez. There we go. All right, so we'll make sure that we have, I think everyone is almost on so far. All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. It's 5:35. And so hopefully if folks join us a little late, we can give them the recording afterwards. And for everyone else who has already joined, just want to reiterate that we are recording this. And so you can have a recording of it after this is done and rewatch it and cook it again. Another reminder that we are starting to boil the noodles for the soba. So if you haven't done that, get your hot water boiling. Let's see. I don't see. Yeah. Okay. We'll get started. So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. On behalf of the Buddhist Church of Stockton. Somebody else is joining us as well. I would like to give a very, very warm welcome to everyone. And thank Reverend Endo for joining us tonight. Reverend Endo is from the Oakland Buddhist Church, and he will be giving a little introduction for himself and then also for tonight's cooking class. We want to thank everyone for joining us today for this cooking class, but this is a part of a larger end of year celebration that we have going on at the Buddhist Church of Stockton. So tonight we will have this Osechi Ryori class. We also are doing an end of year celebration on December 26th at 1 p.m. and that will be broadcast on both Facebook and YouTube. So please join us for that event. And then we also have a lot of other exciting things that we're going to be cooking up. So we have a giving tree for some of our needs of the church. The end of year celebration includes sponsorships, and we're also doing an Okage-sama de membership drive for folks to join the BCS and become a part of programming like tonight's program. And we hope to also have a sushi making class in January. So stay tuned. Hopefully that will be coming up soon. But without further ado, thank you so much, Reverend Endo, and take us away.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks to Stephanie and to Nicole and Megan for organizing this, and to Reverend Shibata for inviting me to be a part of this program at the Buddhist Church of Stockton. But good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Michael Endo. As they mentioned, I'm a member. I actually grew up, born and raised in Oakland, and member of the Buddhist Church of Oakland. My actual work, I don't want to take the minister's position away from Reverend Bridge, who is the resident minister of the Oakland Temple, but my actual job is as the executive assistant to the bishop at BCA, Reverend Marvin Harada. And so I'm currently serving under Reverend Harada. I've served Reverend Umezu, Reverend Ogui, Reverend Watanabe, so the last 4 bishops at BCA headquarters. And so I'm honored to serve in this position. But again, it's a pleasure to be with you this evening during this holiday time. Happy holidays to everybody. Reverend Candace had approached me about this cooking class, and she said, can you speak on Osechi Ryori, the New Year's food that we always enjoy at New Year's time as part of our Japanese culture. So I said, okay, well, I'll try something. And so I just created a PowerPoint presentation on what is Osechi. And then the cooking part with regards to this Osechi will be it's just going to be one dish, but it's kinpira renkon. I think many of you may be familiar with kinpira gobo at New Year's time, but I don't know if too many people make kinpira renkon, and I really like that. That's been one of my signature dishes that I take to our Endo family gatherings. So anyway, without further ado, I'd like to just share my screen and just present this what Osechi Ryori is to everybody. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Everybody see that? Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay. So, Osechi Ryori, it has a 1,300-year tradition in Japan. And that little statement, I put it below, Shinshun no oyorokobi o moshiagemasu. This is a traditional greeting that they say in Japan for New Year's time, so wishing you a joyous New Year. So what is Osechi? Osechi Ryori is a traditional Japanese cuisine that is served during the New Year holiday. It's comprised of a large number of small dishes, typically served cold in a multi-tiered lacquer box, which is called a jubako. Each of the mouth-watering dishes has a different meaning and is said to represent New Year wishes for everyone. How did the tradition of Osechi come about? Osechi Ryori's ancient origins can be traced to the Nara period in Japan from 710 to about 794, when special ceremonial banquets celebrating the changing of the seasons called sechie began to be held at the imperial court. Actually taking place 5 times a year, including on New Year's Day, during Gosekku, the 5 festivals. These banquets became quite extravagant during the Heian period between 794 and 1185. I mentioned the jubako that Osechi foods are traditionally served in. So they're similar to bento boxes, but the Osechi Ryori is usually packed in 2 to 3 layers of lacquered boxes, ojubako, and there are many dishes in each layer. And then the entire family would share one ojubako to enjoy on a New Year's Day. The multi-tiered boxes symbolize the hope that happiness and wealth come continuously, like the layers of the lacquerware ojubako. So some of the items, and I don't think we can cover every item that you would find in a typical Osechi Ryori ojubako in Japan, but I've just picked some of the more common items, and these are common items that we can find in our local areas around New Year's time in the Japanese markets. So one of them is called datemaki. It's a sweet omelet rolled blended with fish paste, and they resemble, before you cut it, it resembles scrolls that are believed to bless families with education and knowledge. We all know kuromame, the black beans, which are sweet black beans, soybeans, or black beans that bring health for the coming year. Their soft and satisfying texture makes them a very popular offering I've also heard, we eat this kuromame at New Year's time because in Japanese they say mame ni naru. You're going to become very smart. So that's why they ask you to eat. I think I've also heard you're supposed to eat as many as your age. So the older you get, the harder it gets to have to eat all those kuromame. But it's a good thing, right? You have to eat a lot of kuromame, which means you're living a nice long life. Another item, one of my favorites at New Year's time, is kazunoko, which are crunchy strips of yellow herring roe, usually marinated in dashi, soup stock, which is the way I actually do it too. Translating as a number of children, kazunoko. They are literal symbols of a large, prosperous family. I know some people soak their kazunoko maybe in vinegar as opposed to dashi, but there's, depending on your family, I'm sure there's many different recipes that you may have grown up with. And we all know kazunoko is very expensive. Kamaboko, the fish cake. Kamaboko are scrumptious fish cakes enjoyed year-round throughout Japan. As they are colored red and white, Japan's so-called New Year's colors, they are essential additions to Osechi Ryori. Red and white colors have been used for decoration at special events in Japan since ancient times. And it is said that white represents new beginning, while red represents felicitations. While kamaboko is usually sliced in a simple way, New Year renditions are often cut into intricate designs, such as animals of the Chinese zodiac, or into braided patterns, as you see here in this picture. Tazukuri. These are baby anchovies, which have been soaked in a soy sauce sugar glaze. Their name literally translates as rice field making, coming from their former use as fertilizer, and thus they have become a symbol of prosperity and abundance. In Japan, rice being a staple in their food in Japan, another reason why tazukuri is so important as part of New Year's time. Kohaku namasu. Kohaku namasu is a simple dish of pickled and shredded carrots and daikon, the white radish. In addition to keeping with the red and white New Year's motif or theme, indeed, actually, kohaku means red and white. Many of you may know the Kohaku Utagassen in Japan, the red and white men and women's singing competition on New Year's Eve in Japan. That's where the word comes from, or also is used, kohaku. But these root vegetables signify the deepening of family bonds. I'm sure we've all seen in the Nishime dish in New Year's time, the satoimo potatoes. It's a variety of Japanese taro potatoes, but satoimo are simmered in dashi and shoyu, soy sauce, until soft and juicy. As many potatoes spawn off a single plant, satoimo embodies the blessing of fertility. Kuri kinton. Kuri kinton are candied chestnuts enjoyed either alone or mixed with sweet mashed potatoes. Their golden color and shape resemble the oval koban, which are the coins once used in Japan, ancient Japan, and are therefore attributed to wealth and fortune. Of course, ebi, the delicious Japanese shrimp, which are included as their arched figure resembles the backs of old people, thus representing longevity and wisdom. And tonight's star, the renkon, crunchy, a little bit sticky, maybe sweet, bitter. I don't know about bitter, but these beautifully shaped pieces of pickled lotus roots are filled with small holes, allowing you to look through them as you eat. And these holes are also believed to grant families the power to predict and avoid future predicaments, as they say in Japan. This isn't so much a part of the Osechi Ryori foods, but we all are familiar with the okagami or osonae mochi, the decoration in New Year's. So while it's not included as part of the Osechi Ryori, kagami mochi are an integral part of New Year celebrations. Translating as mirror mochi, kagami mochi, 2 or more different sized mochi are stacked and crowned with what they call a dai orange. This set is then rested upon a sampo stand, traditionally, and placed in either the families in Japan, the family's either Shinto altar or, of course, in our cases, at the obutsudan, the family butsudan. And this ritual is said to protect the home from fire, along with the embodying of the connection between the new and the previous year. This is Japanese, traditional Japanese cultural tradition of the kagami. As far as us, temple members, we place the okagami at the obutsudan to, of course, welcome the new year, but to appreciate all that we have received. And the mochi being a very important staple too in Japan, very important item to, as respect, to place at the obutsudan. They call in Japan that, we say mikan over here, we put the mikan on top of the osonae, the kagami mochi, but in Japan they call it dai. In Japanese, dai oranges are seen at New Year's because the word dai also means from generation to generation. So they're often placed upon the kagami mochi as part of the welcoming of the new year and the good fortune that it brings. I'm sure each household, we're all welcome the New Year's on New Year morning with ozoni. The New Year, this mochi soup, known as ozoni, has a history beginning in the 1440s. Traditionally, this soup would incorporate the mochi left at the temples in the areas the previous night as New Year's Eve, as a New Year's Eve dedication either to the temple gods or to the Buddhas. And once a healthy heaping of vegetables is thrown in and boiled, this hearty soup is designed to be simple and stress-free, allowing the cook of the family time to relax. Many households will make a simple version with nothing more than just mochi in it, just for the tradition's sake. I'm sure every family has their traditional way of making your ozoni, what you grew up with in your own families, and also it could depend on what part of Japan, say, your family came from. So many times ozoni is made with either clear dashi soup, or many parts of Japan they put the miso in their ozoni. It could be white miso, red miso, on the sweeter side or on the saltier side. So all kind of variations. Just a couple of pictures of some of the things we serve at our gathering, Oshogatsu at the Endos. So this is I'm in charge of nishime, the mixed cooked vegetables. So this was actually last year, just for a small gathering of the family. Because of COVID, we didn't have a big gathering. I still made our nishime, and it has the green peas, satoimo, konnyaku, renkon, shiitake, takenoko, carrots, and the kobumaki. And then, this is another thing I take to our gathering, but this tray includes the datemaki, the egg I mentioned before, the kinton, the kuri, the chestnuts, and the sweet potato mixture, the black beans, kuromame, of course, kamaboko, red and white, or pink and white kamaboko. And also yokan, which is a sweet bean paste made into usually long sticks, and you cut them up into slices for everybody to enjoy. And then, of course, in the center, the kazunoko. So if you noticed, all of the items up to this crab picture, but a lot of the items everything's cooked very well, or preserved very well, so that all of those foods will last, a number of days in the refrigerator or out in the open. But so you notice traditional Japanese osechi ryori doesn't include things that we have incorporated into our our oshogatsu, our New Year's here in America, such as for like our endo gatherings, crab is a must as long as we can get it. I don't know, this year may be a little tough, but we always enjoy having crab, the Dungeness crab. And of course, as I say, sashimi. Everybody wants sashimi at New Year's time, so we try to have. We have plenty of sashimi at New Year's. And I'm sure you're all familiar with pictures like this at your own oshogatsus under normal circumstances. This was a couple years ago at our endo gathering. And like we say, we're never short on food at New Year's time. And we incorporate spam musubi and chicken teriyaki and Chinese chicken salad and chow mein. And I'm sure all of you all have the same items added to traditional osechi ryori. But anyway, it's a great part of our culture. So that's the end of my PowerPoint. So I think we could move into trying to cook the dish, the renkon dish. So let's see. So since I'm doing this, let's see, by myself, what I'm going to do is I have a cutting board in front of me, so I'm on my laptop. I just angle my camera down to my cutting board when I start. But so the main dish tonight is the kinpira renkon that I traditionally make at New Year's time. And so I think if some of you got the information that I emailed to, I forgot who I mailed it. Was it to Nicole or Stephanie or one of you folks? I mailed it, and I think you shared it with everybody else. But so the renkon I'm going to use today, and that I've generally been using is, as I said, this renkon that comes in a package, and it's basically about two pieces of nicely clean peeled renkon in a plastic bag, sold in the Japanese stores. So I know some of you are like from all over the nation, as you said, but assuming a lot of you are from Stockton area. I don't know if you have a Japanese store in Stockton, but Sacramento has like Odos and things like that. I'm sure you could find this kind of renkon. It's already clean, peeled. It's in fresh water. There is, of course, fresh renkon that you could find in supermarkets, Asian markets mostly. This would have to be peeled and clean, but this is also good too. So I'm gonna move the camera down to the cutting board so you can see what I'm doing. I think you can still hear me though, so right? Okay. So usually if I open the renkon earlier in the day or whatever, just to keep it from discoloring, I would put it in some water with just a little hint of vinegar, just to keep it from discoloring. Okay, and keep it fresh. And then I just get all the water off of it. And then I usually I have a bowl ready with paper towel in it after I cut it, so it'll just absorb any of the excess water that's in here. So I think traditionally for osechi ryori, the renkon is kept whole and round. Usually when I make it, just to make it a little easier to eat, I cut the renkon in half, and it's actually just easier to handle. You could keep it whole if you wanted to, but I just cut it in half. Okay. And I cut it in about maybe an eighth inch thick. You don't want to cut it too thin. So yeah, about 8-inch thickness. And this will keep it crunchy when you're after you cook it. I'm not, I'm assuming, I'm not sure if renkon is readily available in all parts of the country. I would think so in most Asian markets, as long as you have one in your area, in your city, or near where you live. Like I say, you know, we could keep this, we can keep it whole too, if you wanted to. But I just like to cut them in half. And 2 of these renkon should give you about, I think about 4 cups or 4 to 6 cups of. Okay. And then I just use that bowl that I had the paper towel just to absorb any excess liquid before we start to fry. Okay. Put this, for this purpose, I have a tabletop burner here. Can you see that? Okay. So it's a real simple recipe, you know, nothing complicated. So just heat it's ideally if you have a non-stick pan, okay. And we have, what did I do with my tablespoon of oil. Just let that heat up. And we're just gonna heat this bubble through. Actually, if anybody has questions, you know, during the process, feel free to, you know, ask.
Hey, Reverend Endo, if you have raw renkon, should you boil it before or after cutting it?
Actually, I don't even pre-boil the renkon. I'll just cut it and wash it. Yeah, it's not even pre-boiled. Although I've never pre-boiled it or, you know, boiled it once before using it. I think that may take some of the crunch out of it. So
if it's the raw vegetable, like unpeeled.
Yeah, even the raw one, I've used fresh, like the one I showed you earlier.
Okay.
But yeah, just peeled it, you know, rinsed it. So here you just saute in that little bit of oil, just to heat them through, maybe about a couple minutes or so. We're not looking to brown the renkon, we're just heating it through.
Reverend Endo, just a clarifying question. What kind of oil are you using?
Today I use peanut oil. And
peanut oil.
I'll use peanut oil for a lot of my things, but you know, you just have to be careful that people have allergies, especially with
Sure,
so
yeah.
Otherwise, canola oil is fine, you know, any kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Vegetable oil is fine, yeah. And you can kind of tell the renkon, everything will get coated with the oil and then kind of get a nice glisten to it. at this point, we just add the quarter cup of dashi. And then, sorry, I forgot one thing. Hold on. Sorry. And then the 2.5 tablespoons of shoyu. The 1 tablespoon of sugar. The 1 tablespoon of sake. And the 1 tablespoon of mirin. And then just keeping this on high heat. You're basically just going to cook this until this juice pretty much disappears. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over to the, like they said, I'm at the Oakland Temple kitchen. They have much better stoves than this tabletop, so I'm going to move this over to the regular stove here. I'll move this up, and we can continue to talk, but I'm just going to continue to cook this over here. I'll just let that cook. So yeah, if anybody else has any other questions right now? Yeah, we're basically just going to let that cook until the juice pretty much disappears. Maybe gets a little bit thick because of the sugar and the mirin and sake that's in there. And of course, you could always, like I do with any recipe, you could always adjust. If it's too salty or too sweet, just add more sugar or maybe a little bit more mirin or sake or salt if you need to.
We have a question in the chat. If the sake is salted already, do we use less soy sauce?
If the soy sauce is salted?
If the sake is salted already, do we use less soy sauce?
Sake normally wouldn't be salted. There would be no salt in sake. So sake is going to just provide more of a sweetener as a sweetener. And because we are using sake, mirin, and some sugar, as this evaporates, as the sauce evaporates, it will start to get a little bit thicker just because of the sugar element. You could see most of the juice has disappeared now. It gets to be kind of thick. Perfect. I wish we were in person. It smells really good. So most of the juice is absorbed, cooked away, become pretty Right, so you can turn your flame off. And then here, I'm just going to move this out of the way real quick. So at this point, this is of course optional, but we can put. I like to put just a little bit of heat into the kinpira renkon and kinpira gobo too. Traditionally has a little bit of a heat to it, so you could use what we call takanotsume, toenails of the hawk. These are the dried chilies, or you could use just your regular crushed red pepper chili flakes, the kind we put on pizza or pasta and things like that. This works just as well. I just like to use the dried red chilies, and I'll take one end off, and I'll get rid of most of the seeds inside, because you don't want to make this too hot, too spicy, but leave a little bit of the seeds inside, and then just chop these up. Just chop it up real fine. And you can add, one or two, or up to you. I think for about this much kinpira, I would do about 2 of the chilies. Just chop it up real fine. And then we'll just add that to the renkon. Mix it up. And another optional item you could add is toasted white sesame seeds. As long as people don't have allergies or problems with seeds in their diet, you could just add about a tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds. Just give that a toss. And that's pretty much it. Plate this. Kinpira renkon, just like kinpira gobo, the burdock root that is more traditionally associated with a kinpira item. But this is great bento food, not only for New Year's, but I'll make this dish throughout the year, just to have as a side dish for your meals and things. So there you are, kinpira renkon, ready for New Year's. Yes, I guess I'm supposed to do this. So good.
Everyone else following along has made theirs. If you want to go ahead and give it a taste and show us all your finished product.
Yeah, show me your. Where's everything? Oh, here's everything. Kind of lost everything. And actually, this particular dish, well, even kinpira gobo too, but renkon, this is actually better the next day when it's cold, because the flavors really set into the renkon. Renkon, texture is kind of like a, I don't know, potato or carrot, I guess. It stays pretty crunchy, kind of hard. So yeah, it's great from the next day on after it sits overnight. You eat it cold. So one thing I have done with this, if you, one of my hobbies is golfing. So if you golf with me and you're in my foursome, you get musubis. You get rice balls. I don't just make simple rice balls. There's always something inside. But this kinpira renkon, I just experimented, but I took it and I just chopped it up real fine, everything, a bunch of it. And I put it in between the rice, and I used a spam musubi maker. So you put rice, a layer of rice. I put that kinpira renkon inside, all chopped up, and then I put some more rice, and then you wrap it up in nori. It was great. It was terrific. You should try that too. Yeah, I mean, it's great. So where's everybody's renkon? I don't see. Oh, I see Candace's. Oh, okay, great. Megan's. Oh yeah, looks good. And all of you, just be like me. Always experiment with the recipes and with the ingredients, and it's to your taste, right? So if you think it's too salty, just add a little bit more sugar or medium. If it's not enough, then add some more of this and that, and just, it's a great dish. Try it for New Year's. I think people will like it. Great, Vivian.
This looks
Can
so
we take
good.
a picture?
I was just gonna say that. I'm gonna switch it to the gallery view.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, folks. So it's now in the gallery view. And if everyone just wants to hold up their renkon, let's see. I see Amy's is on the stove, super close. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And I'll take one more. Just, I think Debbie. Oh, okay, good. I got yours, Debbie. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Love it. Everyone did so well with the plating.
Sure did. Everybody smells great.
All right, Reverend Endo, I will spotlight you once again. Thanks, everyone.
Any other questions on the renkon dish? No? Good. There's good cooks in the house. So as we were preparing for this, when Reverend Candace called me to do this, and we were trying to decide, what should I talk about or what should I prepare? And a lot of the Osechi items I showed you, much of it is already actually prepared, like the kamaboko and things we can buy, like I said, in Japanese stores, the kinton, the chestnuts, tazukuri, the fish. A lot of these things are already all prepared in stores, and you just bring it home and dish it up and put it out for New Year's. But so as we were speaking, I mentioned, well, it's not really an Osechi item, but it is related to preparations for the new year, but it's actually New Year's Eve, and it's the soba. We call it toshikoshi soba in Japan. It's the soba that you eat in order to cross from the old year to the new year. It's a long time tradition. And so I thought, well, okay, that might be something nice to share and give you an idea of how we in our family have enjoyed toshikoshi soba. Now, in my family, the Endo family, my dad's dad, so my grandfather on the Endo side, he loved noodles. Unfortunately, none of us grandkids, none of us knew our Endo grandfather because of the fact that he died in 1935. My grandfather died in 1935, right during the Depression, leaving 12 kids with my grandmother. My dad was one of 12 kids, and so to this day, I just continue I can't fathom how my grandmother did that, raising 12 kids during the Depression. And our Endo family, everybody was always really close, and so. But unfortunately, we never got to meet my grandfather. But my father of the 12 kids was one of the kids that kept on the tradition of making noodles in our family, and so we grew up with my dad making udon, but especially soba at the end of the year. And my father would, we'd make tons of soba, and then we'd give it out to relatives and friends of the family. And so, my dad's been gone since 1995, but my brothers and I, we all grew up helping my dad make soba. So I've tried to keep up that tradition, and I've been making soba too. ever since. So probably we've been making soba in our family for the last 50, 60 years. So I've tried to keep up that tradition. But tonight's just a dry package. It's just a dry package soba that everybody could find in the stores. So any kind of packaged soba you could find in your local Japanese store is fine. And as you can see, they come in bundles. So I have a couple bundles here. So for those, I did pre-cook some soba already, but for those of you who haven't, soba doesn't take very long to cook. Maybe I think this one only takes about 4 minutes. So I think some of you have your pans of hot water going. So, you're welcome to put it in at this time.
Sakura even had Hello Kitty soba.
Hello soba, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
What does that mean? The soba's.
I don't know if it's just. I'm not sure. It's Hello Kitty's brand. I don't know.
Probably the packaging.
Yeah, just the packaging. But I fell for it. I bought it.
They're not kitty shaped noodles or anything like that.
No, I wish.
Yeah, so you could just let your soba, put your soba into boiling water for about, well, depending on the instructions, but normally 4 to 5 minutes. I like to keep my soba more on the al dente side. You don't want to overcook soba. Well, you don't want to overcook any kind of pasta, I don't think. It's always best to keep pasta al dente, but so at the Stockton Temple, or any of your other viewers tonight at your local temples, do you serve year-end New Year's Eve soba after your Joyaya service, year-end service? Yeah, we do too here at Oakland. Of course, we haven't last 2 years because of COVID, but traditionally we'll serve soba to all the attendees. Everybody's soba being cooked?
Reverend Candace, it's your turn once we meet back again, because it's generally the minister that prepares with helpers the soba for everyone. The last time we had it, Reverend Motoyoshi was in charge of it, and she had a lot of helpers.
Right.
Good thing I'm taking this class. I know what to do. No pressure. I'm sorry if it's terrible my first time around.
I'm going to go to Stockton next year, 2022 New Year's Eve service, and have
no pressure. No pressure.
We'll be sure to give you the list, Reverend Candace, so you can utilize all of us who.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Michael Sensei, my directions were covered with a label. How many minutes usually?
I would say you don't want to do it no more than maybe 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And like I say, when I do the toshiko soba, you could serve soba hot, of course, put it into hot dashi, but I do it cold and then dip it, like a zaru soba. So you have the dipping sauce separate. Okay. So if everybody you could just let me know when pretty much your soba is ready. And then after it's cooked, after 4 minutes, put it into cold water right away to stop the cooking process. I'm going to step away 1 second.
Maybe if everyone could give thumbs up reactions if we're ready. I know Reverend Endo is stepped out, so we have a little bit more time.
Yeah, I got plenty of time, yeah. No problem.
Okay, I see one thumbs up, but I'm not seeing thumbs up from others. So maybe we could just
Hey,
wait.
no, yeah, no rush. No, yeah, come on,
Yeah,
no rush.
perfect.
You
Thank
don't want to rush around your kitchen. That's the worst thing.
you. Yeah.
I'm like running like I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm always like a step behind. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, just put it into a strainer and then put that, dump the hot noodles in there and then put that in cold water and then just rinse it until the noodles get cold. You want to stop the cooking process, in other words. You don't want to overcook the soba. Okay. Give you some mood music when we're cooking. Because I'm doing this at church, I forgot one of the most important items for tonight. And that's a glass of wine that I would normally have with me when I'm cooking, but because the church has been closed pretty much for the last 2 years, we don't have any wine in the refrigerator either. So sorry about that.
I think some folks are partaking for you, Reverend Endo. I saw Reverend Candace and Tiffany hold up a bottle.
Yeah.
All right, so I just dropped the instructions in the chat in case anyone needs those again, but I think we'll just wait maybe a few more minutes and then we'll get started again.
Hopefully everybody, I don't know, you all made the dashi, the soup base for the soba, the dashi ahead of time. I think I did send that out, which is depending on how many people you have, but I said 3 cups of dashi with about 4 to 5 tablespoons of shoyu and about 2 tablespoons of mirin. And again, this is to taste according to what you like. In Japan, depending on the region of Japan, for example, Kanto area, Tokyo region, everything's more a little bit saltier, darker, meaning more use of the shoyu and things like that. Whereas if you go down to Kansai area, Kyoto, Osaka area, the flavors are much more subtle. Your broth and certain soups and things are not as dark, more on the clearer side. So depending on your taste, if you go down to Kyoto area and you were used to a lot of salt or whatever, you might think the flavors are very kind of bland, too bland. But I personally like Kansai area food. Of course, I enjoy all kind of food. So Tokyo, Kanto area is fine too. But I particularly like Kansai area. So when I cook, I usually try not to use too much salt and things. Okay. Looks like everybody good here. Like I say, I serve it cold, like a zaru soba. So I'll move this down. Everybody on? Okay.
For those that you that are partaking in a beverage, cheers.
Cheers.
I don't know if anybody's drinking anything. Cheers.
We have water at the church, so I'm having water.
Oh, cheers. Kanpai.
Cheers, water.
Oh, cheers, water with Tiffany. Okay.
I'll just pretend it's vodka. It's okay.
There you go.
Maybe you can have a little bit of the cooking sake.
Oh, that's no, I don't want to. I don't drink cooking sake. So, at my house, we happen to have these containers for zaru soba. It's just a container with like a sushi bamboo thing that goes inside. And so here's the soba that was cooked, and I kept it in some cold water just to stop the cooking and things. Okay. If you happen to have this kind of thing for zaru soba with this bamboo thing, you want to soak these bamboo things in the sudare water so that the noodle won't stick to it. And I was just thinking, I don't think every household probably doesn't have these containers for zaru soba or zaru udon. If you don't, you have the bamboo rollers we use for making sushi. You could easily just use this and get a plate. Soak this in water, of course, but just get a plate. After you've soaked it, just stick this on top of the plate, and then take your soba and then just put it on top of this bamboo sudare. But since I have these containers, we use that. And so you just take a serving, drain the water from the soba from the water, and just put a portion, whatever portion you like. Okay. And then so what I serve with my zaru soba is daikon. We'll make a daikon oroshi. And I don't think, well, maybe I didn't put this in the in my instructions, but you could do this. Just make some grated daikon. We just have a little small dish. So we just take some of that daikon. And some green onion. Just chop this up real fine, as fine as possible. So per person on this little plate, maybe about a tablespoon of green onion. Okay. Let's just put this one daikon. And also some wasabi. It's just the wasabi in a tube, and I'll push this more than using a canned powdered wasabi. And in particular, if you could find this particular brand, which is made by Kameya company, and it says in Japanese hon wasabi, so it utilizes real wasabi root in this mixture. Great. This is great for this purpose or for sashimi. Also, it's not real pungent. It doesn't come to your nose like canned powdered wasabi would. Okay. But I just use this, and then on this plate, squeeze a little bit here, maybe about a teaspoon or so. And so you have your soba, and a little cup for your dashi. And you want the cold dashi. And you could just serve it this way. Serve it this way to somebody. And then when it comes time to eat, you just take this off and you can put as much of the condiments into your dashi as you wish, and then just dip your soba and enjoy. Okay. Looks, I guess, looks a little bit involved, but it's not really that involved. It's not that hard.
Reverend Endo, did you see that chat? It says, when does the Endo restaurant open?
after COVID clears up, yeah. Well.
And then one more question in the chat. Did you put shoyu in the dashi?
Oh yes.
Could you go over one more time how to do the dashi, just so folks can?
Yeah. So I mentioned 3 cups of dashi. So it's okay. Oh, let's see. I have to show this to you. Yeah. Okay. So if I'm making 3 cups of dashi in a pan, put 3 cups, bring it to a boil, and then you could either use seaweed dashi, kombu dashi. And these come in this brand packet's really nice because this packet comes with little individual packets in it. You know, so you could either use kobu dashi, or you could use what they call hondashi, which is more fish-based hondashi. And this also comes in little packets. You could find hondashi in bulk in big boxes of
Is that new? The little packets? They've always had them in little packets?
Well, they've had it for a while anyway, yeah.
Oh, I've never seen it like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Right. So for 3 cups of water, either of these dashi, I would probably put 3 tablespoons or so. So about a tablespoon per cup of water, I guess. And of course, this is to flavor too, so you could adjust, if it's too salty or not enough, put a little bit more. And then to that, about 4 to 5 tablespoons of shoyu, and then the 2 tablespoons of mirin, just to give a little bit of sweetness. And again, always adjust to whatever your flavor is. I say 4 to 5 tablespoons of shoyu, so that'll keep the dashi a little bit on the lighter side. So if you want darker, kanto flavored dashi, you could add a little bit more shoyu. But yeah, these 2, since we're recording this, yeah, the kobu dashi, which is the seaweed-based dashi, or the hondashi, which is the bonito fish-based dashi. These packets are really good. When you're not making too much, and you don't want to open a big box of dashi, then these individual packets are great. Yeah. So one thing about zaru soba, and as I said, when you go to eat this, I'm sure you've seen this in restaurants. You can get what they call ten zaru soba. You could have a side of tempura with this zaru soba, but you put your daikon, a little bit of daikon and the green onion. You don't have to put all this wasabi, so you could just put a little bit, depending on how much you like, and just make sure it dissolves in the tsuyu. You don't want a big clump of wasabi going into your mouth. Okay. Now, one thing I think a lot of people would do is they'll take their bite of soba, and they'll put the whole thing, drop the whole thing into the dashi, and then they'll go to eat it. So in Japan, because you wanna enjoy the flavor of the actual soba, the buckwheat flavor of the noodle. It's traditional to. So if you have noodles like this and you're gonna dip it into the bowl, you only dip about half of this bunch of soba into the dashi, so that this top half is not into the dashi, and then you enjoy the noodles. That way, this top half you still get the buckwheat flavor, and the bottom half will have the salty dashi flavor. So yeah, and of course you have to learn how to slurp when you're eating udon, right, or soba in Japan. So oishii. And when
How's everyone doing? Oh, sorry.
doing,
Just asking if everyone's doing okay. Does everyone have their dashi made and their soba made? Got a couple of thumbs up. Sorry, Reverend Endo, for interrupting. Go ahead.
when you're doing this kind of dipping style udon, zaru udon, zaru soba, or anything, you actually want the dashi to be a little bit on the saltier side, though, because these noodles just came out of water that you cooled it down with, and you're just dipping. So it's not like you're eating a big bowl of hot noodles where it's just sitting in the dashi. So a little bit on the saltier side, and then you get more of the flavor of the dashi in this case. Yeah. So when I have people over, or friends over, family over for meals, and I'll cook, generally try to use a lot of the nice dishes and things that my mom and dad left for me in the house. But in Japan, they say when you go out to eat, a part of it is eating with your eyes in Japan, right? So those of you that have traveled to Japan, you go to a nice restaurant, it's not just the food that tastes good, but it's the presentation, and how things look. It activates your appetite, I think. So I like to try to make things look appetizing, when people come over, and hopefully it makes them feel good, makes me feel good to have something that looks good in front of them. So I enjoy cooking. I watch all kind of cooking shows, get ideas of how to present food and things like that. So it's great. Yeah.
And isn't it wonderful to be able to use like your parents' dishes and your relatives' dishes? It's very like sentimental, I think, too.
Yeah. My dad, especially more so than my mom, he really liked to cook throughout his life. So he bought so many dishes and things throughout the years. And so I have this huge hut. It covers one wall that's just filled with all these dishes that he had bought over the years. And then actually my mom too, she liked to buy all these different things. And actually my dad used to make plates and bowls and things. He liked to do pottery. So so I think that had a lot to do with it, why he liked to buy all these things. So we have all of these Japanese dishes and sets of 8 or 10 of this plate or that bowl or whatever. So yeah, but it's nice. I'm glad I have those items now that I can enjoy and use. Yeah.
When my aunt and uncle moved to Japan, then I inherited my Auntie Yasko's dishes and things too.
Yeah.
So, and all of his books, his books on Buddhism. So it was nice to receive all of those. Yeah. But I don't know. I think I've always, even when I was little too, I've always loved like dishes and cups, and so I think that's my thing too. I love these little things, and sometimes I don't even use them because I'm so afraid to break them.
Oh, I know exactly. Yeah. So like this cup, the cup I'm using for the dipping sauce, the dashi that I made for the soba, it's actually a teacup, but I just improvised and made it into a.
Very cute. Is that something your dad made?
He didn't make this one. No, this is bought. Yeah, this one is Mishima yaki, I think. Mishima, the type of pottery.
Oh, very cute.
So I'm like him. I guess become more like him as far as my choice in pottery and things. But he liked these more subdued, colors. This is kind of a gray with kind of a cream wash in it. But I'm the same way. I don't like things that are too bright colored.
We have some old, very old imari style platters,
Oh, yeah.
round platters from Japan. And it says made in Japan, etched on, the back. And I don't know if you could actually serve food on there because of the paint.
Yeah, I've heard.
We just put it up.
Of imari,
Hazari.
Lead. There's apparently there's lead in the imari dishes, the old imari dishes. So yeah, I don't know.
I usually line it with saran wrap or something, and then put the food on top.
Yeah, if you are going to use it, that's probably a good idea. Yeah. So that's the end of the demonstration we had tonight. But I hope everybody enjoyed. Hope it was worthwhile.
Yeah, thank you, Sensei.
Thank you all for tuning in. Did we go over time? Did we kind of go over time? Oh, I don't know.
No, we're good on time.
Okay. We still have 15 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
And if we want to take one more photo, we could do a little soba one. Wow, I'm seeing Amy's right now. We'll do I'll remove the spotlight, and then we'll do a little gallery view. And everyone's soba looks so good.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
This is great.
Oh, Amy and Vivian. Wow.
I like the Kubo's container.
Wow.
That's nice. Those are nice Zaru soba containers.
I feel terrible. I just use like my cereal bowl.
How does it taste good?
I would have too, Candace. All right. Okay. If everyone wants to just do a little, if they want to show it. Okay. Ready, set, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to do one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I think I got it. Wow. Everyone's look so good. Thank you so much, Sensei. And
how did everybody's renkon come out? Did you try it? Did it taste okay? Good. Like I say, tomorrow it'll taste even better when the flavor kind of goes into the renkon. Yeah, chop it up real small and put it into a musubi rice bowl.
Thank you again so much, Reverend Endo, for spending the evening with us and for taking the time to teach us how to make these 2 delicious New Year's dishes. I know I'm really excited to recreate them. And yeah, it was so great to learn how to make 2 very different and 2 new things. I know kinpira renkon's usually not on the Doi family New Year's table, but I'm sure it will be this year.
Please do, yeah. It's like 22 people on tonight? Wow. That's great.
Yeah, and that's 22 devices. There's some doubles.
Oh, no, that's true, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kinpira renkon and soba are going to be our dinner tonight.
I think so. Healthy dinner tonight. Good to see you, Aiko. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
I guess you couldn't hear me.
Oh, yeah.
You spend a lot of time making those Ryori because it takes time.
Oh, I don't know how Bachan did it.
But you do it too, don't you? You say you have.
Like I've taken over like Nishime, so
In other words, you don't do all of it.
No, not all of it now. There's too many. Under normal circumstances, we have like anywhere from 50 to 70 people that come to the house. So it's, I
Oh
wouldn't,
my.
can't do all that stuff.
Yeah, but Obacha used to do all that, right? So
Yeah, I know.
in the early days, yeah. I never complained, huh?
I know. But like nishime, the cooked vegetables
Yes,
that I showed you, and you got what, carrots, shiitake, konnyaku, renkon,
Renkon,
the sweet peas,
yeah.
carrots, satoimo,
Yeah.
So my mom, she was always in charge of nishime, so I've kept it up as far as what to bring to our gatherings. And she was traditional, so she cooked everything separate. So
Yeah, right, yeah.
I try to do that. Man, cooking nishime takes all night, because you're cooking all this stuff.
Well, see, that's what I was saying, because I've learned how to do it, separately too, and it takes time.
Oh yeah. So actually, we just had, because we haven't had bazaar and obon at our church, right? This is the second year now we haven't been able to because of COVID. So we've been doing these bento fundraisers at the Oakland church, and I've pretty much been in charge of what the menu is going to be and what we've done. But we just did a couple weeks ago salmon misoyaki bento. We're trying to decide what should we add into the bento with the salmon. So I opened my mouth and I said, well, we could do like a nishime.
So you had to cook it.
Cooked it, yeah. So I didn't quite cook everything separate. I combined a couple of the items that I thought would be okay, but most of the items I cooked separately. And we had to make 450 bento, so it was a lot of nishime to make.
Well, that's what I mean. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But when you cook it separately, when you put it on display, it's prettier.
Yeah. It worked out. Yeah, we got good help. So.
We need to get on BCO's mailing list so we can find out all these wonderful things you guys are selling over there.
Bentos? Yeah, you can come. Yeah, I thought I had a picture of the bento. Yeah, but it worked out good. Yeah. We do what we can to help raise some money for the church. Yeah.
Well, I think that is our goal for all the churches, to make all the members to make money for the church, so that we can, so we can improve everything and make it a good Jodo Shinshu church.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I had a picture of the salmon bento, but yeah, it's good. Here we go. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then the rice. Oh, yeah. So we gave rice with this bento separately in a container.
Is that
some of you may know that edamame gohan?
Is the salmon on a bed of a cabbage then?
Yeah, we just put it on a bed of cabbage just to,
Well, no, the reason why it lasts longer that way. If you use regular lettuce, it gets so limp,
Oh yeah.
If you let it sit a while, so.
And I've never made misoyaki salmon at home for myself, let alone 450 people. So that was a thing in itself, but it actually came out pretty good. So yeah. Luckily, Costco had all the salmon we needed. So
you need to do a BCA foodie tour to all the temples.
Foodie, BCA Temple Otoki foodie tour, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your demonstration. A lot of us, I mean, I didn't really have any formal, education. Like I just put it all together as I see fit, everything. I see others do it and I copy them.
My habit is I'll go to a restaurant and, if there's something I like, I'll just try to mimic the flavor and recreate it, at home. And stuff.
Right. Well, my mother said, but she said whenever she wanted to make for news, she called it shochikubai. She called it so. You use
pine and
pine and ume, and and then she always emphasized that for New Year's.
Oh yeah.
If everyone took a photo of your food tonight, we'd love to be able to post some snippets onto the church's Instagram page. So
yeah, please do.
After this, you want to email the bcofstockton@gmail.com. Stephanie just dropped it in the chat. We'd love to feature some of your photos. It all looked so delicious, and I'm eating along with you as well. So it's so good. So thank you, Michael. Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you.
And I also just dropped a link to our link tree, which has our social media channels, as well as ways to get involved for our New Year's celebration. So, and hopefully, if we have another cooking class, you can also stay up to date on our social media channels and or the website.
Okay.
So, Stephanie, did you guys do Reddit or not? Not Reddit? Or Nicole?
I'm sorry? No.
No Reddit. Okay. That's one that Alex is wanting to do for religious education, is Reddit, because he said that's more of a Q&A kind of thing. So yeah, so you guys all agree. Okay. I don't know what it is. So he asked me if you guys had done it yet. I have no idea. So that's good.
This sure turned out very nice. Thank you, girls, for spearheading this program. And I didn't follow along, but it was just very worthwhile, and I'm glad I signed up.
Thanks so much, Ruby.
So Sensei Michael and some of you that are not on our board at the Buddhist Church of Stockton, just as a background, last year for New Year's, we very quickly put together a virtual program in order for us to be present somewhere in the world since our doors were closed. So we very quickly put together a virtual program, which still is on YouTube if you want to check out last year's. And we recruited not only food, but Stephanie did a great shochikubai, put together that, and we had Taiko did a fantastic program. So but it was kind of rushed, and it was the best we could do under the circumstances. And then we did another one for Obon, since we were pretty much shut down except for drive-through pickup of food. And then at this point, I needed help. And so I asked Nicole, Stephanie, and Megan if they would be interested in helping out with our virtual programs. And as a result, they have put us on multiple social media sites. So you can find the Buddhist Church of Stockton in multiple places, no matter where you might look. If you know, not just Facebook and not just YouTube, but they have reached out to more of you. They have put together this master class, as well as another, which has now been postponed, but will come, I'm sure, and expand and pushed our membership. You know, membership is important for the lifeblood of the temple. And so they have put together a membership drive, which is great. We have a new membership for under 30 with the BCA. That's part of this program. And to my knowledge, there have been at least 6 or 7 of that age group gifted memberships for this coming year. So that's a success in itself right there. And a new virtual program that you'll get to see on December 26th. And I can't wait to watch that. But they've brought in things that I would have never thought of. And I really, really appreciate all the help and effort they've poured into this. It's really something. It's really amazing what young people can do that us old ones that are used to books and newspapers, you know, we don't even think of. So great job to the 3 sisters, and thank you very, very much. And thank you, Sensei Michael.
No, thank you. Thank you.
I know where you live. If I can remember how to get there, you know, you never knock at your door. I want another lesson.
Thanks, Darlene. And thank you so much, Reverend Endo.
Oh, you're welcome.
I see that you unmuted, Reverend Candace.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie. You know, I just wanted to take this opportunity to personally thank Reverend Endo too for, I know you're so busy, so taking time, of course, out of your busy schedule to join us, and we always enjoy your company. So thank you so much. And of course, I have to also thank the Doi sisters for, like Darlene was saying, doing all of this fantastic work to make us more present online, social media, and just reaching far and wide, I think, to reach so many people. And that leads me to my last thank you to all of our new friends who are joining us today. We really appreciate you tuning in. And if this is your very first activity with us, we welcome you, and we really want to just extend our warm welcome to you, not only to our social events, but of course, being our friends in the Dharma, the Buddha Dharma as well. So thank you so much for joining us, and we really appreciate you taking this opportunity to join us in this fashion. And if there's any questions that you might have, please feel free to reach out, and I'd be happy to walk you through, you know, whatever you need to know about being a new member of our family in our temple. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Candace. Okay, well, it is now 7 p.m. and I think that a lot of you have food to get to. So we, on behalf of the Buddhist Church of Stockton and my sisters and I, thank you so much, Reverend Endo, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight and supporting the Buddhist Church of Stockton. And we hope to see you on December 26th for our end of year celebration, as well as hopefully some more cooking classes. So thank you, everyone. And we will send a link to the instructions as well as the cooking list and a recording of this so that you can replay and remake it. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Happy holidays.